Hey all, we have today on the channel, we have our East Semi Finals that we will be doing on a live stream on a tape today. I was busy yesterday and I promised people that I would be doing it yesterday, so I'm going to make up for it and do it today. So we are going to do a watch along for the East Final and then a watch along for the West Final. So let's get started. Okay, so we don't need pregame. Just want regular season. So we're just going to skip ahead. Oh, I went too far. Give me 1 second. Oh. Let's leave it there and just let it play. Just let it play out. So, winner of this game plays us next weekend in Hamilton at Blackout. As we have the Trues and Thundershock performing. Oh, we already got... message me. Yeah, I noticed that you weren't on Fiverr anymore. Give me 1 second and I will... Let me pull up the... There, you can... There's the email that you can email me at. Playoffs about to kick off. Ten and 8 versus 10 and 8. Veteran in Claris and a young man in Davis Alexander. Zach Claris is 6-0 with the Bombers in division playoffs. And Davis Alexander is 11-0 with the Alouettes. First playoff start. Jason Moss is 6-4 in the postseason record, won Grey Cup in 23. Mike O'Shea is 9-6 postseason record, won Grey Cups in 19 and 21. So they got the crossover and the flyover. And here we go. Castillo kicks off for 68 yards to the Montreal 12. Letcher Jr. returns for 18 yards to the Montreal 30. (7-0) record, 72.5 completion, 2,024 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions, with 4 games of 300-plus yards. Stevie Scott rushes for 5 yards to the Montreal 35, so it's going to be 2nd and 5 at the Montreal 35. Tony Jones with the tackle. Alexander passes to Tyson Philpott for 7 yards to Montreal 42. Gramdy with the tackle. So it's going to be 1st and 10, Montreal. Wow, that was crazy. How? Alexander throws to Charleston Rambo for 41 yards. God dang. To the Winnipeg 27. Jamal Parker with the tackle. So it's going to be 1st and 10 at the Winnipeg 27. Alexander throws incomplete to Austin Mack at the Winnipeg 27, so it's 2nd and 10. Davis Alexander passes incomplete to Austin Mack, so it's going to be 3rd and 10 at the Winnipeg 27. Maltos Diaz goes in for a 35-yard field goal attempt. So it is 3-0 for Montreal. So now I'm just commercial because I'm not fast forwarding it because I don't want to mess it up. So now we have Winnipeg coming out after Montreal scored 3 points on their first drive. Let's see what Winnipeg can do on their first drive. I'm just going to change this to show. Oops. We're going to do this first quarter because all this stuff's already up on the website, so I don't want to find out what has happened. We're just going to go like this. Winnipeg 0, Montreal 3. We'll just do it that way for this game, for these two games since we're on tape delay. Next stream is following this. Will be West semifinals between Calgary and BC, followed by our Edmonton and Ottawa Redblacks off-season. Save. So we're going to be doing 4 streams today. We're going to be doing this one. We're going to be doing the West semifinal. We're going to be doing the Edmonton season recap and free agent news while I update my spreadsheet. And then we're going to do the Ottawa 1-on-1 as well. So we have... Oops, I don't want to go too much higher. Zach Clare's pass complete to Wheatfall for 2 yards to Winnipeg 2 because they started at the 40 because Montreal kicked a field goal. So it's 2nd and 8 from the Winnipeg 42. Zach Clare throws to Ontario Wilson for 6 yards, so it's going to be 3rd and 2. We don't want to go that high. Sheehan punts for 52 yards to the Montreal 10. Letcher returns it for 11 yards to the Montreal 21. Jay Smith with the tackle. Bum, 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 bum. Alexander passes to Tyson Philpott for 9 yards to the Montreal 30. Evan Holm with the tackle. 3-8 without Alexander this year. 2nd and 1 from Montreal 30. Shea Patterson rushes for 9 yards to the Montreal 39. Cramdy with the tackle. I don't know why this has been. No, we don't want to connect. We are going to do this. We're going to do the no. Connect. Oh. Forget that. Put those on there. There we go. That's better. And then we'll charge these. I am busy at the moment. That can wait. So Stevie Scott the third rushes for 5 yards to Montreal 44. Vaughters with the tackle, and then Alexander passes to Phil Pott for 5 yards to Montreal 49. Evan Holmes with the tackle. Alexander throws incomplete to Cole Speaker to the Winnipeg 46. It's going to be 3rd and 5. Would it not? Oh no, it was 1st and 10. So it's going to be 2nd and 10. There's a Sneed, but there's a flag on the play. See what this flag is. So Alexander passes to Sneed, but there's defensive pass interference on Dawson Lawson Jr. 39 yards to the Winnipeg 49 Montreal 49 to the Winnipeg 22. 1st down. Alexander passes to Austin Mack for 23 yards to Winnipeg 11. So it's 1st down at the Winnipeg 11. Stevie Scott rushes for 10 yards to Winnipeg 1. Kyrie Wilson with the tackle. It's 1st down. was last? Okay, so we need share link. No, Patterson doesn't get it. Patterson rushes for 0 yards, tackled by Cramdy, so it's going to be 3rd and 1 at the 1. Philpott rushes for 1 yard to get the touchdown for Montreal, so it's 9-0 Montreal pending the extra point. Ten play, 89-yard drive, just under 6 minutes as Montreal gets the touchdown. You are delirious. Taking advice from slippers. You whoever Hamilton plays, hopefully next weekend, Hamilton comes out full guns a-blazing. They're just re-showing the highlights of that drive. Okay, so Maltos, that's the extra kick. Maltos kicks off for 67 yards to Winnipeg 13. Baville returns for 16 yards to Winnipeg 29. like I get like teams and that need to pay for commercials, but the amount of commercials that the league has is bloody ridiculous. Do, 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 mm, 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 mm. Round three, nine, four. Round three, 94. A bobbled snap, and there's flags on the play. And it's procedure on Stanley Bryant, 5 yards. So they go from the Winnipeg 29 to the Winnipeg 24. Oliveira rushes for 6 yards to Winnipeg 30. So it's going to be 2nd and 9. Clarence throws incomplete to Ontario Wilson to the Winnipeg 51, broken up by Burns. So it's going to be 3rd and 9 at the Winnipeg 30. So Sheehan's coming in for the punt. Sheehan punts 50 yards to Montreal 30 out of bounds at the 30, so it's going to be 1st and 10 at the Winnipeg 30. Or Montreal 30, my mistake. Scott rushes for 5 yards to Montreal 5. Kyrie Wilson with the tackle. Alexander passes to Rambo for 30 yards to Winnipeg 45. Cramdy with the tackle. 1st down, Alouettes. Alexander with another big bomb. And he throws it to Philpott for another touchdown for the Alouettes. This time it's a 45-yard pass to Tyson Philpott and the Winnipeg end zone for another touchdown. So it's 16-0 Alouettes without the extra point. Winnipeg has allowed 2.5 big plays per game, and they're 4th in the CFL. .183 net yards already for Montreal. Maltos kicks it off for 67 yards to the Winnipeg 13. Vadville with the return for 28 yards to the Winnipeg 41. So we got to change this to 16. Brady rushes for 4 yards to Winnipeg 45. So it's 2nd and 6. Collaros passes to Wheatfall for 29 yards, so Winnipeg 36. Najee Murray with the tackle. So that ends the first quarter as Montreal leads 17-0. I will be right back. Just give me one moment as we sit here and go through this commercial on TV. Okay, so now we're going to change this to, second quarter. So after one quarter, Winnipeg has 1 first down, Montreal has 10. Winnipeg has 37 passing yards, Montreal has 148. Winnipeg has 10 rushing yards, Montreal has 35. Winnipeg has 47 net yards, Montreal has 183. Winnipeg is 1 for 3 in second down conversions, Montreal is 6 for 7. Time of possession for Winnipeg is 4 minutes and 6 seconds. Time of possession is 10 minutes and 54 for Montreal. So let's go to quarter number 2. Brady rushes for 0 yards to the Montreal 36. No gain. Uguak. He's a TCU alumni. Nice. Incomplete to Ontario Wilson in the end zone. So it's going to be 3rd and 10 at the Montreal 36. He just sneaks it inside. As Castillo kicks a 44-yard field goal to make it 10-3. Want to get drunk right now? No. Josh Ross. So Montreal is going to take over at their 40 now after the field goal. Stevie Scott, the third, rushes for 17 yards to Winnipeg 53. Stevie Scott rushes for 0 yards to Winnipeg 53. Oh, I didn't put the ticker back on. Alexander passes to Rambo for 7 yards to Winnipeg 48. Larson Jr. with the tackle, so it's going to be 2nd and 3. Or 3rd and 3 from the Winnipeg 46. Zima punts for 37 yards to the Winnipeg 9. Vavil with the tackle. Vavil returns for 8 yards to the Winnipeg 17. Beverett with the tackle. So, I want to say Thursday. Actually, no, Friday night. I will be recording a Ticats preview with whoever wins this game. It won't just be like a normal 23-minute video where I go over the depth charts and everything. I'm going to be going over all of the news stories going into the East Final, the numbers for each position, comparing the two. So it's going to be a really long, in-depth video. That will be coming out because my schedule for work has changed. They'll be doing a 9 p.m. live stream Friday night. So we will see how things go for that. Brady is going to rush for 5 yards to the Winnipeg 22. Zach Claris gets sacked for 10 yards to the Winnipeg 12. Berglund with the sack, fumbled by Claris, recovered by Patrick Neufeld at the Winnipeg 20, or Winnipeg 12. So it's going to be 3rd and 15, and Shahan's going to come on to punt. Shahan punts for 43 yards to the Winnipeg 55. Letcher returns for a loss of 2 to the Montreal 53. So it's going to be first and 10 at the Montreal 53 after this TV timeout. Plant. So far, what I've seen so far in this game, which we are just 9 minutes left into the second quarter, is if we play Winnipeg, I'm more worried about Oliveira than I'm about Caleros. If we play Montreal, I'm not so worried about their run game. I'm more worried about their pass game. So, depending on who wins, will kind of determine which part I'm more worried about. Because, I mean, Berglund, their defensive end, I'm not worried about him because our defensive line is just as good. So, and our secondary is amazing. So it's just a matter of what Alexander will be able to do. Alexander throws to Charleston Rambo for 3 yards to Winnipeg 54. So it's 2nd and 7. Alexander passes to Sneed for 15 yards to the Winnipeg 39. So it's Tony Jones with the tackle, so it's going to be 1st and 10 at the Winnipeg 39. See, with us, we have Stavros, we have Amos, we have Jamal Parker, Talbert, Moxie, so I'm not worried about our secondary per se. I'm worried about these big passes. Because so far, up until this point, Alexander's been undefeated. So I'm hoping that we're going to be the first team to beat him. Is there a flag? Or did they get the timeout in time? Oh, Montreal did get the timeout in time. Tyler Sneed with 1,129 yards, 5th ranked in the CFL. So what I might do is after the Grey Cup, I might sit down and go over everything in the CFL, numbers-wise, offense, rushing, receivers, just to do like a whole season recap. I might do that. I'm going to do that in the off-season at some point. Stevie Scott III rushes for 1 yard to the Winnipeg 40. Kyrie Wilson with the tackle. Is that or what I might just stick with is as the free agent lists come out, I might just do like a team recap. Because I got to enter the lists into my spreadsheet anyways and do the recap numbers. So I might just do like a season recap for each team. Give me 1 moment. Hello?
Ricky?
Yes?
Do you have a tiger cat gnome?
A gnome? No.
Okay, I'm going to send you a picture of it, and you tell me if you have one, okay?
Okay.
Goodbye.
Bye. Alexander passes to Austin Mack for 37 yards to the Winnipeg 3-yard line. Lawson Jr. with the tackle. 1st down, Montreal. Or 1st and goal for Montreal at the Winnipeg 3. So Alexander rushes for 3 yards to the Winnipeg end zone for a touchdown. As it just curls into the upright, so it's 24-3. 24-3 save. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. So Maltos with the extra point. And then Maltos kicks off for 66 yards to Winnipeg 14. Vadville with the return of 35 yards to Winnipeg 49. Bushman with the tackle. Clares passes to Cochran for 11 yards to Winnipeg 50. First down. Clares passes to Chris Ike for 4 yards to Winnipeg or to the Montreal 46. Breverett with the tackle. So it's going to be 2nd and 6 at the Montreal 46. Oh. Clara rushes for 3 yards. Fumbled by Claris. This is the second time that he's fumbled it. Forced by Berglund. Second time he's forced to fumble. And this is when he recovers it. So the Montreal 43. Cochran with the tackle. Alexander passes to Rambo for 14 yards to Winnipeg 53. Jamal Parker with the tackle. So it's going to be first down for Montreal at the Winnipeg 53. Alexander passes incomplete to Tyler Sneed to the Winnipeg 46. So it's going to be 2nd and 10 at the Winnipeg 53. Davis Alexander pass complete. Short to Tyson Philpott for 12 yards to the Winnipeg 41. Cramdy with the tackle. First down. Uh, 16 first downs to 2. 290 net yards for Montreal, 60 for Winnipeg. Alexander passes to Philpott for 10 yards to Winnipeg 31. Cramdy again with the tackle. 1st and 10 at the Winnipeg 31. Mm-hmm. Stevie Scott rushes for 1 yard to the Winnipeg 30. Demario Houston with the tackle. And then Stevie Scott rushes for another 6 yards to Winnipeg 24. So it's 2nd and 4. Zima kicks a wide field goal, and they pick up a single. 32-yard, no field goal, no good. So that was at the Winnipeg 24. So Winnipeg already starts on their 24 because they have the missed field goal. Claris passes to Stearns for 21 yards. To the Montreal 49, first down. Claris passes to Stearns for 9 yards to the Montreal 40. Ruffin with the tackle. Out of bounds. Zach Claris 7 for 9, 82 yards. And 2 fumbles. Zach Claris passes to Gavin Cobb for 2 yards for the first down. So it's 2nd and 10 at the Montreal 38. Minute 1 left in the second half, or second quarter. It's at the Montreal 38. And Claris passes to Stearns for 14 yards to the Montreal 24. Najee Murray with the tackle. So it's going to be 1st and 10, Montreal 24. 54 seconds left. As the clock continues to run, they just wasted at least a good 20 seconds. And then he gets sacked. So they just wasted 24 seconds taking their sweet time to hike the ball, and then he gets sacked. In that 24 seconds, you could have run easily 2 plays. Zach Claris passes to Wheatfall for 14 yards to the Montreal 19 out of bounds. Ento with the tackle. So they're at 19 seconds. Oh, there's a flag. So it's a time count violation. So time count, and so they're going back 10 yards. So 3rd and 14. So it will be a field goal now. Sergio Castillo's already made one from 44. This is a 37. And Castillo kicks it good. So it's 25-6. Oh, I forgot the extra point. That single. So let's skip forward. So now we got to go to the third quarter. Take me down to the prayers on grass, and grass, and the girls are pretty. Want to take me home? Yeah, me down to the very nice city, and the girls are pretty. Take me home. Oh. $25-6. 20 minutes in the first half of the ball game that Willie Jefferson's defense was on. Dang. So Maltos kicks off for 45 yards to the Winnipeg 35. Baville returns for 14 yards to the Winnipeg 49. Claros passes to Gavin Cobb for 27 yards to the Montreal 34 out of bounds. So it's going to be 1st and 10 at the Montreal 34. So Claris passes incomplete to Stearns to the Montreal 1. However, there's defensive pass interference on West Sutton. And there's Montreal offside, declined 33 yards from the Montreal 34 to the Montreal 1. And now Montreal is challenging the ruling on the field. So, because they've already used one timeout in the game, because now they're challenging this, if they lose this challenge, they have no timeouts for the rest of the game. So Montreal loses their challenge, and they're out of timeouts. Terry Wilson rushes for 1 yard or 0 yards at the Montreal 1. Winnipeg is now challenging the ruling on the field, short of that line to gain. They're just showing the challenge from Winnipeg. Just waiting for this to be over. Then we can continue on. Terry Wilson rushes for 0 yards to the Montreal 1. Bad route with the tackle. Wilson rushes for a 1 yard touchdown. So it will make it 25-12 pending extra point. So the extra point is good. So it's 25-13. So 2 touchdowns in this game have been caused by PI. That's caused the other team to score the touchdown. Yeah, I wish I had one smile because this team's losing right now. This is Stanley Bond. Make sure you draft me. Draft me. Make sure you draft me in your fantasy. If you want to win, draft me. No, draft me. Oops. No, that's not what I want. That's what I want. So Castillo gets the extra point, and then he kicks off for 67 yards to the Montreal 13. Letcher Jr. returns it for 16 yards to the Montreal 29. Oh. Stevie Scott rushes for 4 yards to the Montreal 33. Crammed you at the tackle. So it's Winnipeg unnecessary roughness would be objective conduct Crambo or Charleston Crambo. 25 yards to the Montreal 33 to the Montreal 38. So it's 10 yards per penalty plus 5 yards between the two, 33 and 38. So it's going to be first and 10 for Montreal, first and 10 for Montreal at the 38. Alexander's pass intercepted by Allen at the Winnipeg 52. Allen returns it for 4 yards to the Montreal 54 out of bounds. Collaros throws to Ontario Wilson for 54 yards to the Montreal end zone for a touchdown. So it's 25-19 with still the extra point to kick. So right now, Montreal's only up by 6. So Castillo kicks the extra point. So now it's down to 5 points in the third quarter. 11-12 left in the third quarter. Bum, 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 bum. Did I get a response? Castillo kicks off for 62 yards to the Montreal 18. Letcher Jr. returns it for 18 yards to the Montreal 36. Shane Gauthier with the tackle. And here we go with another TV timeout. Oh. Maybe not. Oh, here we go with another play. I thought we were going with the TV timeout because normally after they kick the ball, they go to it one, but maybe not. Alexander passes to Philpott for 26 yards to the Winnipeg 48, fumbled by Tyson Philpott, forced by Jamal Parker, recovered by Evan Holm, and Evan Holm returns it to 36 yards to the Montreal 26. Lestage with the tackle. So that's 2 fumbles by either team. Well, actually, no. Winnipeg has 2 fumbles. Montreal has an interception and a fumble. Zach Claros passes to Brady Oliveira for 19 yards to the Montreal 7. Sankey with the tackle. First down, Winnipeg. So it's 1st and 10 at the Montreal 7. Claros throws incomplete pass to Wheatfall. And the funny thing is, it hits off the uprights. So it's classified as an incomplete, and this is why they want to move the uprights to the back of the end zone. Zach Claros passes to Wheatfall to the end zone. Montreal gets defensive pass interference on Burns, 6 yards. to Montreal, from the Montreal 7 to the Montreal 6, first down. And Tyree Wilson rushes in again for another touchdown. So they come back 19 points down to take a 1-point lead with the extra point still to kick. There's no stop, and there's still lots of fight left in Winnipeg. Castillo kicks the extra point, so it's 27-25 for Winnipeg. Castillo kicks off for 76 yards to the Montreal 4. Letcher returns for 31 yards to the Montreal 35. Shane Gauthier with the tackle out of bounds. "21 points scored and a difference in a time span of 3 minutes and 37 seconds. 8:36 left in the third quarter. Davis Alexander passes incomplete to Jay Mason at the Montreal 38. Alexander passes to Tyson Philpont at the Montreal 44 for 12 yards to the Montreal 47. Demario Houston with the tackle. First down, Alouettes. Davis Alexander passes to Austin Mack for 50 yards to the Winnipeg 13. Cam Allen with the tackle. First down for Montreal at the Winnipeg 13. Stevie Scott, the third, rushes for 13 yards to the Winnipeg end zone. Touchdown, Montreal. So it's 31-27 pending extra point. Four plays, 75 yards for the Alouettes to retake the lead, 32-27. Jungle. What do You're talking to a lamp. Kicks it for 57 yards to Winnipeg 23. Vanville returns it for 21 yards to Winnipeg 44. Out of bounds. So Clares comes back on and tries to answer for the next one as there's 6:10 left in the third. Brady Oliver rushes for 6 yards to the Winnipeg 50. So it's going to be 2nd and 4 from the Winnipeg 50. Frick, at this point, it's anyone's game. So Zach Claris rushes for 0 yards to the Winnipeg 50, so it's going to be 3rd and 4. Sheehan will punt for 48 yards to the Montreal 12. Letcher Jr. return for 7 yards to the Montreal 19. So 4:38 left in the third quarter. That's not what I want. So where's my pencil? So we need to do who do they play today is the question. Springfield. Okay. Oops. So right now, Claris has 13 of 16, 212 yards, 1 touchdown. Alexander has 17 of 24, 334 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Alexander passes incomplete to Austin Mack at the Montreal 29, so it's 1st and 10 at the Montreal 19. Alexander rushes for 11 yards to the Montreal 30, 1st down Montreal. Stevie Scott rushes for 5 yards to the Montreal 35. Woodby with the tackle, so it's 2nd and 5. Alexander passes to Speaker for 11 yards to the Montreal 46. Cramdy with the tackle, so it's going to be first down and 10 at the Montreal 46. Stevie Scott, the third, rushes for 2 yards to the Montreal 48. Jake Thomas with the tackle. He grabbed that elbow again. Second and 8. Alexander passes incomplete to Rambo at the 55. So it's going to be 3rd and 8 from the Montreal 48. So a minute 24 left in the third. Or a minute 17 because the clock's running. Zema comes on to punt for 45 yards to the Winnipeg 17. Vadville with the 9-yard return to the Winnipeg 28. Tyrell Richards with the tackle out of bounds. Bum, 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 bum. Zach Claros passes to Cochran for 11 yards to the Winnipeg 37. Berglund with the tackle. First down Winnipeg at the Winnipeg 37. Bum, 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 bum. So after 3 quarters, Winnipeg has 14 first downs. Montreal has 23. 223 passing yards, 345. 345 passing yards for Montreal, 46 rushing yards for Winnipeg, 96 rushing yards for Montreal, 246 net yards for Winnipeg, 439 for Montreal, 1 turnover for Winnipeg, and 2 for Montreal. Time of possession after 3 quarters is 17:41 and 27:19 for Montreal. Best. So Brady had rushed for 16 yards to Winnipeg 53. So now we're into the fourth and final quarter. So we want up a bit more. Ooh, that one was hard. It almost picked off. So, like I said earlier, I'm not worried about the Montreal rushing game because Stevie Scott rushed for a bit today, but nothing to be able. He's no Brady Oliveira. As long as our secondary can keep Alexander's receivers in check, we should be fine. It's just a matter of if we can and if they do. So if Castillo makes this field goal, this 44-yarder, they'll be down by 2. So they're down by 2. We can fix things that pick up your pickup, that pick up your pickup, that pick up your pickup. Some dumb commercials. So, Mark Lego was just, or the team has just announced that Mark Lego has the highest field goal accuracy in team history this season with 92.9. Override says Toronto sports is for the people who hate themselves. The guys react to the Jay's heartbreaking defeat. Stevie Scott rushes for 2 yards to Montreal 42. Alexander throws incomplete to Tyson Philpont. Two and out. Just gonna make sure that I have my spreadsheet open because I gotta work on the Edmonton free agent list, and then we got to do Ottawa's after that. So that's what we're going to be doing after this game instead of watching the West Final. So let's change this to will be our season recap for the Elks. Zeman punts 51 yards to Winnipeg 17. Vavel returns it for 10 yards to Winnipeg 27. Oliver rushes for 0 yards to Winnipeg 27. Fumbled by Brady Oliveira. Forced by Robertson Jr. Recovered by Dequoy. So that's 3 fumbles that Winnipeg has had. 1 by Brady, 2 by Zach Claris. So these fumbles really hurt Winnipeg because I think one of them had points from Montreal. Like all 3 definitely killed the momentum on those drives by Winnipeg. Do, 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 do. Mm, mm, mm. Bum, 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 bum. Let's see. Okay, so we gotta get. Oh, I need that. Like that for now. We need player stats for Edmonton. Get that ready for after this, because then we'll recap all of Edmonton's season, plus go over their free agent list and update my free agent list, and then we'll do the same thing for Ottawa on a separate stream. 3 application. Okay, so I gotta add that. Look at that. That. Oh, here's the other one. Alexander pass complete to Stevie Scott III for 1 yard loss to Winnipeg 28. Alexander sacked for 12 yards to the Winnipeg 40. Jefferson with the tackle. And they get a roughing the passer penalty for 15 yards. So it goes from Winnipeg 28 to the Winnipeg 13. Stevie Scott rushes for 6 yards to the Winnipeg 7. Kyrie Wilson with the tackle. Scott the third rushes for 7 yards to the end zone for a touchdown. So 9 minutes left in this game as Maltos goes and kicks the extra point to make it 39-30. So the only thing that does well for Montreal, for Alexander to get the time that he has, is their offensive line. So if we can get our defensive line to go after them and put lots of pressure on Alexander, then that's going to be a factor. I'm surprised Lawrence didn't get a penalty there for taking his helmet off on the field. And then he throws it off to the sideline. So 8:46 left, and Winnipeg's down by 9. Maltos kicks off for 52 yards to Winnipeg 28. Valville returns for 17 yards to Winnipeg 45. Archibald with the tackle. I'll be glad next weekend when we don't have those Montreal Horns in Hamilton. Oh, it throws a deep 2. Zach Claus throws a deep 2. Wheatfall for 53 yards to Montreal 12. Ruffin with the tackle. First down for Winnipeg at the 12-yard line. Oliveira with the 1-yard rush to the Montreal 11, so it's 2nd and 9 at the 11. .297 passing yards for Zach Claris, 344 for Alexander. Claris passes to Gabe Wallace for 3 yards to Montreal 8. However, there was an illegal forward pass because he was an illegal receiver. The penalty was declined, so it's going to be 3rd and 9. So Castillo's going to come on. Castillo's already been 3 for 3. He's kicked from 37 and 2 for 44 yards. So if he makes this will be 39-33. $16-yard field goal attempt. So Castillo kicks it, and it's 39-33. 6:59 left. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do-do. Montreal's Davis Alexander passes to Scott III for 12 yards at Montreal 52. Alexander passes to Philpott for 4 yards to Winnipeg 54. So it's second and six. Alexander passes Speaker for 1 yard to the Winnipeg 53, so it's going to be 3rd and 5. Zemo punts 46 yards to the Winnipeg 7. Vadville returns for 23 yards to the Winnipeg's 30. Beverett with the tackle, and then Montreal gets an unnecessary roughness penalty. So Winnipeg moves up 15 yards. Just seen something on here now. Zach Claros passes it incomplete to Jared Stearns and then throws to Wheatfall for 6 yards to the Winnipeg 51. So it'd be third and 4. Sheehan punts 49 yards to the Montreal 10. Letcher Jr. returns for 8 yards to the Montreal 18. Trying to look for the comment that I just seen. Someone is saying, if someone returns next year. Alexander passes to Stevie Scott the third for 18 yards to the Montreal 36. Evan Holmes with the tackle. Break good time, come on. 2 minutes and 39 seconds to go. Do 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 do. Still trying to find that tweet that I just seen. Yes, and there is rumors of Kent Austin supposedly being the next coach of Ottawa Redblacks because the Auburn coach was just fired, so we'll see how that goes. Still haven't found that comment yet. I'll look for it later. Passes to Philpott for 5 yards to the Montreal 41. Would be with the tackle. So it's 2nd and 5 from the Montreal 41. Alexander rushes for 18 yards to the Winnipeg 51. End of play. First down, Montreal. Stevie Scott, the third, rushes for 39 yards to the Winnipeg 12. Evan Holmes with the tackle. First down, Montreal. Stevie Scott rushes for 1 yard to the Winnipeg 11. Would be with the tackle. So a minute 1:30. Montreal's up by 6. Now it's 57 seconds. Stevie Scott rushes for 7 yards to the Winnipeg 4. Demarion Houston with the tackle. 51 seconds left. So it's 3rd and 2 on the Winnipeg 4. So it looks like they're going to kick the field goal. Maltos is 1 for 2, and he's made a 35. This is an easy chip shot. A 13-yard field goal attempt. So it'll be 42-33, 9-point lead with 51 seconds left. In the East Semi Final. "26 seconds left on the clock." Zach Clares throws incomplete to Brady Oliveira. Zach Clares passes intercepted by Sankey at the Montreal 46. That will basically end the game there. 12 seconds left. So with that being said, was that okay? One interception. So one interception and 3 turnovers. So that's four turnovers for Winnipeg. So Montreal is going to need it twice to take the victory. So Hamilton will play host to Montreal next weekend on Saturday at 3 p.m. Winnipeg does not make the playoffs for the first or to the Grey Cup for the first time since 2018. So we're gonna leave the stream there. I'm gonna go grab some bite to eat, and then we'll come back and do the Edmonton recap and free agent watch, and then once we're done that stream, we'll do the same thing for Ottawa Red Blacks. So give me 5-10 minutes, and I'll be back.